I grew up in a typical American home with my mom, my dad, my older brother, and my twin brother, and we went to church every Sunday, and we would go to church, that service, and then we would kind of forget and move on with our lives for the rest of the week. And that's kind of typically how my life went about for as long as I can remember. When I went into the 5th grade, changes started to happen in my house. My older brother, he started getting really heavy in drugs, and my twin brother, he would have just angry outbreaks, and he would, punch holes in the wall. He would shove me and my mom, and he was just angry all the time. And my dad, he started drinking heavily, and he would get home from work, and he would go to his office and just drink all day until it was time for him to go to bed, and then he would just go to bed. And so I was kind of the good child, and I knew my parents loved me, but I felt like I wasn't important to them, and I felt like I didn't matter in my house. I was kind of this shadow in the background. God wasn't really important in my life. I knew he existed, and I knew he was there, but I just didn't really care. And so when my older brother was in high school, and I was around 13 years old, he came home high on drugs, and he wanted to go out late, and so my mom was like, no, you can't go out late. And my dad came out. He had been drinking that night, and he took some sleeping pills to help him sleep, and he came out and started yelling at him. So I got up out of bed and tried to confront them, and that's when my dad started punching my brother, and my brother started punching my dad. And I just remember trying to get in between them and say, no, stop, just trying to break up the fight. And I just remember my brother's blood in my hair. And at that moment, I realized that I didn't want anything to do with God. I wanted nothing to do with him. And I question, why did you put me in this house? Why did you put me in this life? Why do I mean nothing? And after that, my life really started to take a huge turn. I started to put my values in the guys I dated, and I always cared about what they thought. I had to look perfect for them. I needed to be great for them. And it turned out I could never be good enough. My parents, they were still there, but they were always focused on my brothers, and I just felt like I meant nothing, and I had no purpose in life. On the outside, I perceived that everything was okay, I was great, I had a smile on my face, but on the inside, I felt like I was nothing, and I had no value, and I was just empty. Last year, my aunt signed me up for Digs Weekend, and she said that it would be a great opportunity and it would be fun, and I had no interest in going whatsoever. I didn't want to go. I didn't want anything to do with God, but I ended up going because I thought it was an escape from my reality, my home. And so on the last night of Digs, there was a pastor talking, and she said, all these things she went through when she was younger, and I realized that I do matter to God, and he puts me through things because he has a purpose for me. And that shortly after that, I accepted Christ into my life, and I devoted everything to him, and I knew that he had a path for me. His hand was reached out for me, and I just had to go ahead and grab it. And I realized from that point on that even if I don't necessarily matter at my house, I matter to God.